Myself, I'm Ratnabhushan, trained motivator and guide to IAS aspirant, international motivational speaker, leadership trainer, CA coach, political strategist, and policy advisor. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please and impress them, don't go too far in the displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite, inspire fear and insecurity, make your master appear more brilliant than they are, and you will attain the heights of power. This quote I have taken from the book The 48 Laws of Power, written by Robert Greene. So, the most important news of today's source, the Hindu newspaper. Government will ease problems of poor Prime Minister. Modi interacts with the state vendors who got loans through PM Sevanidhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday said the government was working on a new digital transactions platform for street vendors in the wake of pandemic. Mr. Modi addressed street vendors in Madhya Pradesh who got loans through the PM Street Vendors Atmanirbhar Nidhi PM Swanidhi, a microcredit scheme launched by the Union Housing and Urban Affairs Ministry in June. Under the scheme, street vendors badly hit by the pandemic and lockdown get loans up to 10,000 to restart their work. The Prime Minister also interacted with the three of the beneficiaries via video conferencing. He said whenever there was a crisis, it was the poor who bore the brunt, which is why the government was focused on easing their problems now. As customers prefer digital transactions over cash due to the pandemic, street vendors should move toward digital transactions, citing the example of the restaurant that the orders and the deliver through apps. And the Prime Minister noted that the street food vendors could also carry out their business online. The government would come up with the platform for the street vendors to transact digitally under PM Swanidhi scheme, which is a part of the centre's Atmanirbhar Bharat package. He said street vendors had access to easy capital. This scheme helps one get rid of the interest completely. Under this scheme, interest rebate up to 7% is being given away. A new beginning has been made in the collaboration with the banks and digital payment facilitators to ensure that our street vendors don't lag behind in digital shopkeeping, he said it. Now, next important news is Israel in trade talks with India, China. The country hopes to border tension to be sorted out peacefully, says official. Israel hopes that tension between India and China will ease, and it is talks with both countries on the trade agreements, according to an Israeli official. While India and Israel were negotiating a limited trade deal of about 200 designated products, free trade agreements FTAs with South Korea, China, and Vietnam were underway. Israel also planned to discuss India, United Arab Emirates, Israel cooperations in a number of the areas such as agriculture, technology, and water once the UAE agreement is formally signed in Washington on September 15. The official said we have good relations with India and China. Gilad Cohen, Deputy Director General of Asia Pacific Division in the Israeli Ministry of the Foreign Affairs, told journalists at a special briefing when asked about the 4-month standoff between India and China troops at the line of actual control LAC. We hope all tension will sort it out peacefully and the situation will soon ease. The twisted trajectory of BT cotton. Despite finding huge favor in India, the GM crop has only brought modest benefits. Cotton has been woven and used in India for thousands of years. Cotton fabric from around 3000 BC has been excavated from the ruins of Mohenjo-daro and archaeological finding in Mehergarh, Pakistan, showing that cotton was used in the subcontinent as far back as 5000 BC. Indian cotton fabrics dominated the world trade during the succeeding millennia and were exported to many places including Greece, Rome, Persia, Egypt, Assyria, and parts of Asia. Much of the cotton cultivated until the 20th century was the indigenous Desi variety Gossypium arborerum, Gossypium arborerum. From the 1990s, hybrid variety of the G. Hirstum were promoted. These hybrids cannot resist a variety of the local pests and require more fertilizers and pesticides. Cotton suffers from the plenty of infestations from the moth pest lepidopteran, such as the pink bollworm, PBW, and sad soaking hemipteran pests such as hapids and the mealybugs with interesting pressure to buy hybrid needs. The indigenous varieties have lost out over the years, but recently there has been some resurgence of interest. The increasing use of synthetic pyrethroids group of the man-made pesticides to control pests and the rising average acreage under the American long duration cotton led to the emergence of resistant pests. Resistance pink and the even American bollworm, a minor pest in the past, began increasing, leading to a growing use of a variety of pesticides, rising deaths and reducing yields, coupled with increasing insect resistance worsened the plight of the cotton farmers. It was in this setting that BT cotton was introduced in India in 2002. The next news is rethinking the defense of doctrine. The ongoing border crisis with China calls to a strategic shift from the retaliation to prevention. Punitive retaliation to prevention. Over 4 months ago, the Chinese army entered territory that India has long considered its own and never left. In fact, the multiple incursions have changed the line of actual control, and India has lost territory at least for the time being. How could this happen? In part, it was a feature of the warning intelligence system. Either Indian intelligence services did not collect the sufficient data for Chinese investigations and early moves, or they did not interrupt it correctly, or their policy had military customers failed to take the warning seriously. Wherever the fault lay, the system apparently failed. In blockchain voting, leave out the general election. The Election Commission of India has for a while now been toying with the idea of further digitizing the electoral infrastructure of the country. In furtherance of this, the Election Commission had last month held an online conference in collaboration with the Tamil Nadu e-governance agency and IIT Madras, through which they explored the possibility of using blockchain technology for the purpose of the enabling remote elections. While this exploration is still only the nascent stages, there are several concerns that must be considered at the outset with the utmost caution. Realism and the undemarcated border. The deep conversion with the China had External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has indicated must be informed by the past, but should be based on the changed global context as a festering problems left over from colonialism tend to reframe West Asia as an example. West Asia as an example. The new trade-offs in leadership matter as civilizational state neighbors and rising powers. India and China have a unique continuing process of diplomatic engagement even as their military faces offset against each other, which is very different from the international relations theory developed in the West to explain something that had never happened before the 200-year global colonial and post-colonial world and inapplicable to differences arising from colonial ambiguity. Prime Minister Narendra Modi asserts that this is the age of development, and former generals of the lay-based corps pointing to the undemarcated border, suggesting a practical boundary line. The Karakoram watershed reforms the national interest, combined with the recent shift by the China from the line of actual control to claim line. A new national debate on demarcating the border is needed. Massive Chinese buildup on the north bank of Pangong Lake. As Indian troops are engaged in a standoff on the south bank of Pangong Thasho Lake for the past week, a massive buildup had again begun in the Finger area of North Bank, a senior government official told The Hindu. The ground commanders met on Wednesday to resolve the stalemate, but it remained inclusive. The People's Liberation Army had occupied the ridge lines and amassed troops on North Bank where fingers 4 to 8 are located. The official said there was a worrying concentration of troops on both sides, with China dominating the area, the official said. So, my dear friends, this is the news of today's And I would like to share some of the important facts which is related to Indian polity. This fact I have taken from M. Lakshmikant. M. Lakshmikant. Okay. Demand for Constituent Assembly. Demand for Constituent Assembly. It was in 1934 the idea of Constituent Assembly for India was put forward for the first time by M.N. Roy. M.N. Roy, a pioneer of communist movement in India. In 1935, the Indian National Congress (INC) for the first time officially demanded a Constituent Assembly to frame the Constitution of India. In 1938, Jawaharlal Nehru, on behalf of the INC, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by Constituent Assembly elected on the basis of adult franchise. The demand was finally accepted in the principle by British government in what is known as the August Offer of 1940. In 1942, Sir Stafford Cripps, a member of the cabinet, came to India with a draft proposal of British cabinet government on the framing of independent constitution to be adopted after World War II. The Cripps proposal was rejected by the Muslim League, which wanted to be divided into two autonomous states with the two separate constituent assembly. Finally, a cabinet mission was sent to India. While it rejected the idea of two constituent assembly, it put forth a scheme for the constituent assembly which more or less satisfied the Muslim League. Thank you so much. Wish you all the best and good luck.